Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moonride. I'm going to do something new I haven't tried in a while, which is to just do this live. Honestly, it takes a little bit of time to upload videos. And I've got two questions. Maybe if you've seen my last couple of videos, I put in an option, send me $7 and I'll answer any political question for you. And I have received two. Here's a first one, and it comes from, let me see if I've got this guy's name right. It comes from Douglas. So Douglas asked if there is any proof that Trump or his LLC have been laundering Russian money. Is it connected also to the exploitation of children, that money? And has this impacted his attitude to Russia? So, hi guys, hi. All right, so good to see you guys online. Let's check it out. Let's first of all see about the laundering of cash. Money laundering. Spirit, is there going to be proof that Trump's laundered money? I'm getting a yeah. I see like a stamp, almost like, there it is, U.S. grade A choice. That's kind of what I get out of that. Is there proof? Spirit, can you show me something else that indicates proof? A huge stack of money and then a small stack of money. I think he made a lot of money off of this, Russian laundering. So yeah, it's interesting because the tall stack of money, a lot of it is red, and it's kind of red going down to a little bit of, gets pinker. So some of it's really, really, really obvious and overt. Some of it not so much. Okay, I see Trump with his pants down. Actually, fortunately, he is wearing underwear. But that's obviously symbolic. Trump's been caught with his pants down. I think that's great. And of course, Stormy Daniels is smiling in the background there. Let's see. So, Spirit, anything else? Okay, so I do get the feeling. To Doug's point that again, this is a way that he's been manipulating, that Putin's manipulated Trump. I see it like a marionette string. A lot of stuff. Look, I mean, this is a really interesting image. I'm almost like being turned upside down and around and moving. It's as if I'm in space and my body's shifting. Like now the moon's here, now the moon's here, now the moon's here. Everything's going to be turned upside down, and I'm getting soon. 3 months, within 3 months, I'd say even, so 3 months. What does 3 months mean? It's all going to come out within 3 months. There's a lot of material here, but you'll notice that things are not getting better for Trump. They are getting worse. Now, is the money connected to exploitation of children? Now, as you guys know, I've told Spirit, don't show me all the details. I can't take it. What can we say? Yeah, I mean, I see children. I think it is, and again, they're kind of spinning. Please say a prayer for these children right now as you're watching, and maybe you're not a religious person. Just send your heart and love out to these kids who are being exploited, especially in Russia. So? Can you tell me any more without showing me any more? Okay. Uh-huh. Basically, that's it. I see kids like kind of imprisoned. You guys, I realize I didn't put in my little speaker thing. I'm afraid you might not be hearing me so well. I'm going to try right now. One advice I'll give to everybody who does this kind of work is this microphone does $18 and it works out great. Hopefully you can hear me better. All right. Is 45 minutes? Yeah, that's the question. Yeah, somebody just wrote out my question. Is he involved in exploitation? That's what you guys are asking. Let's see. I get beneficiary, not necessarily doing it himself, but he knows people who do it. He comes close to participating, if not actually doing it. And honestly, to get to my initial take on it is not very young children, but 17-year-old girls. Yeah, that's not a problem for him, maybe even a little bit younger. So they're not children, but they are not legal age. Yeah, it's pretty revolting. I don't want to see too much of this. Spirit, what else can you tell me about this? Okay, handcuffs. I do see handcuffs around Trump's wrist, and I see the same thing. Trump is being handcuffed to a jail cell. So this feels like a connection to me. Yeah, these two things are connected. Obviously, handcuffs mean prison, and that is a jail. I think that Robert Mueller might have known something too about this, because I see him and I see him looking. I actually see a tear running down Mueller's face. I think Mueller was really sickened by what he saw. And that's one reason why he is coming forward to correct this matter, is that he's like, this is more than just a political question. It is a question of exploitation, morality. He's Mueller is, from what I understand, a somewhat religious person, and I think that it's not a hypocritical religion. He feels true to me. Wow. Okay. So here's Mueller, and you know how sometimes you're working with like molten lead, and you need these tongs to get the lead or something. That's what he's talking about. It's almost like this is too hot to handle. He's giving me the feeling like he knew about it, but it's so hot that if he'd thrown it out there right away, people would have totally freaked out. And that somehow this is going to be delivered to us in a little bit more of an even-handed way. Okay. Okay, so let's move on to the other question. This one comes out from Helen, and she asks, will conditions in the future be will politicians in the future be required to show their taxes and to submit to criminal activity and vetting to see if they're criminals beforehand? This is like post-Trump. Will we get a better system of preventing this from happening again? Well, again, I see Trump in jail. So I think that just the symbolism of Trump in jail, that is going to be a very motivating factor for a lot of people. In some ways, you understand that. I know this is very difficult to go through, but in some ways, this is really important that we go through it, because we need to see a Trump in jail. We need to be reminded again and again of how, gross this is. And, we need to go through this in order to make sure that it doesn't happen again. In a way, Trump is so obvious that it's a good thing. It's, other people might have been less obvious and we wouldn't have known what awful things they're doing. But all right, get off your soapbox, Dave. Let's see. Can you tell me what about the future? Okay, I'm seeing Nancy Pelosi. She's in Congress. It's interesting because I actually saw Nancy Pelosi with her own. Sometimes they have like a pair of handcuffs where it's like a stretcher. She had those on in Congress, and she took them off, and she seems freer to make these laws. Now, realize that Nancy Pelosi, it may not literally be her. It might just be the power of women senators, or just the power of those people who are more sensitive, who have a little bit more of, we can put femininity in quotes. I have femininity too, even though I'm a man. Just, it could be that sort of thing. But it looks like, you're right, Helen, it looks like she, whoever she is, will do this. She will, whoever is doing this. She's looking at some paperwork. There are other senators behind her, and they look pretty serious. I think that they are going to put forth some new rules. What about like taxes? Will they have to show their taxes in the future? Okay, Nancy's saying one. That's like number one thing we're going to do. And she's crossing her arms. She's like, about this, I am not going to be tepid. again, I think it's kind of, the fact that Nancy hasn't gone all the way yet, that might be a good thing. It might be that we are being asked to tell her and to push her. And when she does get to the point where she really does have some legislative power, that she can really do this. She seems successful. Nancy's got her hands over her head. But are they backing you up? And I actually get that they might be backing her up, even both directions. Even the Republicans have a sort of vested interest in doing this. Now that it's no longer Trump, they want to make sure everybody's on the up and up. As you can see, Pelosi, but there's like two. She's like angled out in two different directions, like maybe Republicans, maybe Democrats. Anything else for this? Let's see, anything else that Helen asked? Yeah, and we also want to know about criminal activity. I'm getting a yeah. I think that we should push for this, but this is very achievable. I keep seeing jails, and it's like somebody's in jail, not necessarily Trump. We need to know about their past crimes or whatever past, and just be a lot more assertive about finding out about our candidates beforehand. Okay. Spirit, just in general, do you have any just messages for American people? This is really, or people of the world, this is really a difficult thing that we're going through. And it's kind of torture for us here. Tornadoes. Look, I know tornadoes are a bad thing, but in spirit, tornadoes also spin things up and, clean things up. They cause commotion and distress and all that stuff. Imagine 100 tornadoes on the United States right now, but they're more symbolic. They are taking place within our culture. They are taking place in the world. But understand that it's like organic in a sense. They're moving everything around and throwing stuff up in the air so that we can kind of fix it and start again. It is somewhat ruinous, but understand that in the ruin comes something new, right? It's hard to accept a tornado as a good thing, but out of the ruins of what's happening, there are some real stuff going on. There's some, people coming forward. There are people showing who you are. You guys, all of you out there are coming forward. You're saying what you think. You're backing it up. You're standing together for what's true. You're speaking truth to power. Those are all really good things. Focus on how this could be good for us personally and as a society. This is something that we are going to move through, and we're going to succeed. This is not a failure. This is an experience of what we don't want. There's a prize out there. I can see it. It's like a loving cup, almost like we've won the game or something like that. There's a prize out there. Remember, our culture, American culture, I should say, is the most powerful culture in the world. It is the most influential culture. It's the one with the most possibility of a democracy. There are others, but they're not as big. They're not as powerful and stuff. It's natural that we would go through this. It's natural that as the democracy kind of drifts away, it'll be brought back in front of us, and we'll be given a choice. You want to live in a democratic society or not? Okay, well, now's the time to step up and do that. And Spirit wants to give you guys a lot of praise. Many people out there are stepping up. This is great for your soul. It's not always going to be easy. We have to do this, and we can do this in a right way. We can do this in a way that's not harmful to others. We can do this in a way that's radically peaceful, where we still speak truth to power without, attacking so much as we're speaking the truth and helping other people hear it. People are protesting. People are going out and just doing it, and that's really impressive. Don't forget to pat yourself on the back for the great work that you've done. And that is simple things. talking to people on the phone who you care about, and being diplomatic, and talking to people on the phone who you care about, and, saying, gosh, I'm really sorry to hear this happen. And, you have my support and love. And, there are people who went down to the border and made sure those kids got fed. We get so angry at our media. Well, some people in the media, they went down there and they found out how those kids are being treated. There are people out in the media right now who are every day working like dogs to make sure that we know the truth. That there are really good things about our society. There are really good people out there who are sacrificing so much. In the past, maybe they've sacrificed totally silently. Your average social worker, all of those people have been totally invisible, and they're coming forward. We just want you to know that you are loved, your work is not forgotten, and you really are going to succeed. I think that something really good is going to come out of it. I'm not going to yet make a prediction that this is a president or not, but I see Elizabeth Warren holding that cup. Bernie Sanders seems somewhere in the background. Spirit, do you want to give us any others? Anybody else we should be looking at politically? So Elizabeth, it's not certain about Elizabeth Warren, but she seems to be rising. It's not a certainty. Think of it almost, as a symbolic thing, whether she is going to eventually be the president or not. The fact that she is doing what she's doing, she's radically proposing things. She's not attacking people personally. She's speaking the truth. That in of itself is an important step in our society. There has created a window has been created for Warren to speak beyond all of this. There are others who are speaking the truth. I think it was Gillibrand that was on TV, Kristen Gillibrand. She is not necessarily going to be a successful candidate, I can see. But, the other day on Fox, she was really speaking the truth. These are small victories, which you can relish in. They will go further and further and further. It's almost like we're marking in time who we are when we see such people speaking truth to power. I want to note that both of the people that I'm seeing are women. Buttigieg is out there somewhat, but I almost feel like he's more just like a symbol of equality or something. He's in there. I don't know if he's going to be successful or not, but he works as a symbol of here's a gay man who's completely out, and nobody can attack him, right? Because of his background. Kamala Harris, speaking the truth. Yeah, lots of minorities out there in politics. Also, don't forget that, it's not only the president. The president is symbolic of a lot of power, but there's lots of senators you never heard of who are doing good things all the time. Those people in Congress who are working collectively to do something. There are hundreds of them, and they're doing important work, which you might not notice every single day because it doesn't take the front lines, but it's going on. And I think that those people are going to propel us to a new generation of Democrats, and it seems like the Democrats have some pretty good chances of winning more seats. And I think that they might take the Senate. I think that they might win the Senate by 2 points. It feels like 52 right now. Realize that all of these things could change before the election. Gosh, and so what about Warren? Yeah, and in another video, I was skeptical about Warren winning because I saw a tear running down her cheek as I was asking for president, and I thought, well, no, she's not going to do that. But I think now that tear running down her cheek really was this terrible events of her DNA results and the sort of controversy that surrounded her. Very unfair in some ways. But that brought some things into consciousness that needed to be brought into. What is your DNA? What's your relationship to a Native American? Is it spiritual? Is it in your blood? And those questions had to be answered. And who remembers that? Who cares about that right now? I'm wondering if Warren might have a better chance at winning right now. I do see Buttigieg there. I don't know how much of it are the issues involved, but and I think it is too early to tell. So, Spirit, can you tell me any more about Elizabeth Warren? Wow, there's a real possibility she could get it. There's a real possibility she could win. Bernie has not disappeared either. He seems to be present. There's a lot of possibilities right now for people, but keep an eye on Elizabeth Warren. If not just her, the issues and the things that she talks about, she's really taking a leadership role right now, which we would be advised to keep an eye on. She's going to change the balance of power. Whatever happens, she is actively changing the balance of power. I like her more and more as I'm looking at her here. Anything more about it? Yeah, keep a look on Warren. Yeah, she's building. She's doing better. She might do it. I feel like Bernie's in the running too. These are the only faces that are coming up, although Kamala Harris' face does come up. Buttigieg, and I always Swalwell is the California senator. I don't even think he's running, but he's kind of there too. I don't know why. Maybe he just takes a higher position, or he is sort of a face in a way of the younger Democrat generation. And when I say younger, I don't mean physical in the body. I mean in spirit. Good one. Okay, you guys, I feel really pretty good about our future. I really feel like that we're moving into a new era. This has been difficult. Change is always very, very difficult. And we can accept that big changes can be even more difficult. And I understand often we have to view the dark. We have to view what we don't want to see before we can reject it and accept what we do want to see. We have to see the horrible consequences of, all of the things that the Trumps of the world represent. We have to actually see them in our face so that we can stand up and say no and choose something new. And you understand, in a way, that's more beautiful than if it just happens. You build a business and you make $1 million. That's something that it's about you. You go buy a lottery ticket and you get $1 million. That's kind of just random. You know what I mean? In a way, the fact that we're moving forward and this is hard and we have to really stick together and we have to speak to each other and all that stuff. And we have to, forget the petty differences and say, this is the main point. That's a journey, and it's a journey really worth having, right? If you feel disheartened at any moment, realize this is a journey. Journeys sometimes have, you have to change the tire. That's okay. Just remember, keep your eyes on the goal. Don't let people distract you from the goal. Just keep your eyes on that goal, and it will be achieved. It'll take a little bit of work and time. I think that it really will be the whole time we're waiting for the next election. We'll be battling and battling and battling this kind of war, which sometimes requires diplomacy and sometimes requires to be assertive. And also, it does seem like we have to protest. There will be some protests that we must engage in. Don't take any of my reading to mean that this is a given. It's just a possibility. We must support this insofar as we can. Do what we can. And, some people just can't do, they have 3 kids and 2 jobs. They just can't do everything. That is okay. Whatever you're able to do, whatever shows up for you, just keep your eyes on that prize. And remember, Spirit is just keeping us in the loop and letting us know, this is what you want, right? This is what you want, right? This is what you want, right? So that we can recognize it and make that happen. Right? Thanks for joining me on my first solo live video, and hello to all of you. Thanks for watching, guys.